Quail on a prepper here, and I realized I missed an entire step of hard boiling quail eggs, and then I realized that, you know, a lot of people don't know exactly how to peel them. So I've got a bowl full over here, and I wanted to show you real quick. I don't know if I can do this one-handed, but I peel so many of them I should be. This is the bottom, and you take the bottom and you pinch it off like that. And then usually if the eggs are just right for peeling, you can pinch the sides and let air get down in the shell, like what's just happened there. And you can pop the whole egg out. Ta-da! Like that. One-handed peel. Now you know that's not going to happen for the second egg. And normally I do this in my sink. And in order to, it's the same thing with chicken eggs. In order to tell if your egg is ready to be boiled, is you do a float test with them. And it's the same thing like, you know, checking whether or not your egg is ready or bad, is you put it in water, and ones that float are bad. In this case, most of the time with the quail eggs, they're just cracked. What I'm doing right now is I'm just cracking the shell all the way around. You know, this is probably about 50 or so eggs. And what I do is I put them in a pot and I shake them vigorously to break them up. So that the water can get into the shell and make it easier to peel. And like this one's going to come out pretty easy. I can actually feel it squishing. And, oops. Come on out. Come on. If your egg is not ready to peel, it will not come out of the shell. I have a couple of them, you know, that, you know, like you end up taking some of the egg off with it. There's actually one that's really bad. So, again, you pinch the bottom, and you just kind of get a good section off to, you know, free it up a little bit, and, you know, you should feel it. The skin should roll, you know, under your fingers. You feel it rolling, and then, whoop, out it comes. Oh, where'd it go? I lost it. And so what I was explaining is when you put them in the water to check whether or not they are ready to hard boil. Let me find a better right here. See the pointy end and the round end? If they are ready to hard boil, they will float just dangling with the tip of the egg touching the bottom of the bowl. For quail eggs, that's about 3 weeks old. And I think it's almost the same for chicken eggs. But these eggs are a little bit differently in the sense that they're leathery when you're trying to take them off. So they do give you just a little bit of trouble sometimes. And here's another thing I do differently, what they show you in like certain places in your hard boiling eggs. Hang on just a second, I'm losing my phone. Is that you know, put the eggs in room temperature, you boil the water up, and you know, with the eggs in it, and you bring it up and then you boil it for about 10 minutes. Quail eggs are a little different. You're going to, and I'll do a video on it next week when I go to do. These are my extra eggs, and since I don't eat them, you know, I eat quail eggs maybe, you know, like scrambled eggs or something like that. I think I may, you know, I may only eat 20, 30 eggs a week, and you know, plus what I give to the dogs. And sorry, there's my bills again. I'm always laying them out. And the rest, I have extras. Anyhow, so what I do is I pickle them, or you know, sometimes I set some aside for a salad. And since I'm feeling pretty good right now, they gave me some medicine for pain for my gallbladder. Otherwise, my nose and these eggs would, it would make me so sick. I would be so sick trying to do this. If I tried to do this yesterday, I just wouldn't have been able to do it. So, anyhow, but now this one is sticking a little bit. It's not giving me, like the shell isn't rolling as much as I would like. And, you know, these eggs weren't all harvested on the same day. Whoops. Okay, little bugger, where'd you go? But they're really not that hard to peel. It's just, the trick is knowing you know, the right age in which to peel them at. And I'm so sorry. ADD, man, gets in the way all the time. I think of 1,000 things to say, and I just can't. My brain bounces all over the place. With quail eggs, it's different. You're gonna take your eggs, if they've been in the refrigerator, and you're gonna soak them in some fairly hot water for about 15 minutes or so. You want to get that egg temperature lowered to where, or higher, to where when you put them in your boiling water, they're not going to burst. And as you can see, none of these eggs burst. And this was just hot tap water. Once I separated what eggs were good, what eggs were bad, I soaked the good eggs in hot tap water and got them up to a temperature to where they're not going to pop the minute you put them in boiling water. And you put them in the boiling water, and this is a 4-minute boil. And the one thing you know about, I usually do this over that sink. The one thing you know about boiling water is that it's 212 degrees, and it's not going to change. So when you add your eggs, you will drop the temperature down just a little bit for a few minutes before you can, this egg is sticking a lot. This egg is I'm going to peel the tar out of this thing. It's just not, see how it's breaking apart? And, you know, some of them, I do take out, if they're eggs like that lay on their side, like a really fresh egg, I usually take those out. But that's what happens when they're not ready to be peeled or not ready to be hard boiled. Same as chicken eggs. And you take your eggs that were soaking in warm water or in the hot water, you plunk them into the boiling water, you bring it back up to a boil, and at that point, it should only take a few, literally less than a minute, come back up to a boil. And once it comes back up to a boil, you're going to wait about 4 minutes. Take them out. I stick them back into the hot water that I had waiting. A couple more. Not bad, one-handed. Get over here. This feels like a 2-yolker. Just might be. And it's not coming out. Damn this phone. My fingers are wet and slippery. And so, again, they're really not that hard. Like I said, I've peeled, thousands of them now. And, there's gadgets for peeling them and stuff that are non-electric, which I love. I just never got one because I don't know what happens. It's like I become transfixed. It's like, if I'm sitting with a bowl of peas and snapping them and stuff, I could just, I could go through like a whole bushel and somehow my mind goes into another universe and probably goes to the homeland.